going to call the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting to order. Can we start with a roll call?
Alberto Paratori.
Aziz Hassan.
Norma Drummond.
Rocco Lumatone.
Art Mahoney.
Thank you. Can I ask everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, this evening, well, let me start with, our next two meetings are going to be Tuesday, April 22nd and Tuesday, May 27th. I can't believe I'm talking about May already, but we have two sets of minutes to approve. I did send them around with very, very minor changes, okay, or suggested amendments. So is there a motion to approve the minutes of January 28th?
Motion to approve the minutes, so moved.
As amended, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, so that's fine. Is there a motion to approve the set of minutes for February 25th, 2025?
As amended, so moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, good. So we have two sets of minutes done. Our next meeting is April 22nd. I don't think I need to talk about snow. So I think we're clear for snow for the year. The way this evening is going to work, we have one public hearing on, so that's one application this board has already had an opportunity to review, and so that we opened it up for public comments from the neighbors. So we will have further discussion about that application, and then we have two new applications, and those are going to be the first time the board is seeing those applications. There will be no public comment on either of those applications tonight. At the appropriate time, we will notice the neighbors for those two applications and hear their comments at that appropriate time. So with that being said, let's start right in. For a public hearing, I have Appeal 4131, Michael Benassi, 29 Thunder Road, Hopewell Junction, requesting an appeal from the zoning administrator's determination of the front yards. Sorry, I got to read the new, I'm reading the old application, the old agenda. Let me start again. Appeal 4131, Joseph Benassi, 29 Thunder Road, Hopewell Junction, requesting an appeal from the zoning administrator's determination of the front yards pursuant to section 194-14.2 and local law number 7 of 2022 for lots 1 and 2, a variance to allow structures in the front yard, including the existing detached garage, existing pool, pool deck, shed, and the proposed 1,500 square foot detached garage, and a 40-foot front line variance and a 331 square foot side variance for the proposed detached garage pursuant to section 194-107 of the Schedule of Bulk Regulations. The footprint of the existing house is 1,948 feet. Do I have a motion to reconvene the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, let me give the board an update on this application because you all see it's been amended since our last meeting. So we had an opportunity to meet last week with Mr. Benassi, the town attorney, the planner, the town engineer, and myself, to discuss with him that the determination he was seeking was in fact not getting any variances on the property, and regardless of where the front yards were going to be, the structures that have been built out there, and we're going to need some variances. It was going to be one set if it went one way, it was going to be potentially another set going the other direction. And there's still the request he has to do a minor lot line realignment to adjust some of the property from lot 2 to lot 1, or lot 2 to lot 1. And so we felt it would be more productive if we had him amend his existing application on file. Mr. Benassi, if you don't mind, come on up to the microphone so if you can weigh in on anything that I'm saying here. It would be more productive so that we don't have to start all over again with this application, to just keep it going, okay? So with that said, we do need to finish up with the review of the determination of the front yards. And so I did want to give you some background of what we've determined. The original subdivision of this property that created the 3 lots showed that determination said that if there was any further subdivision of this property, that it would require that a town road be built, or a road be built for to town standards. For 911 purposes, this road was given a name, Thunder Road, okay? But in 1992, Mr. Benassi came in and asked for a further subdivision, but what he asked for was a shared driveway. And so by town code, a shared driveway is allowed, actually, it was supposed to be 2 driveways, according to the plan that was submitted. It was supposed to be 2 driveways at a certain part of it. And according to town code, you're allowed 3 driveways off a shared driveway, or 3 lots, which is another issue that we have here, but that aside. So that was, in 1992, there was a further subdivision that eliminated the need for the town road because it became a shared driveway. When it became a shared driveway, the house all the way in lost its ability to face what could have been a road. It has to face frontage, so it had to face, the front yard has to be Clove Branch Road, okay, when that became a driveway and not a road.
Yep.
Okay? So based on that, we took a look at the proposed plan of and the existing structures that are out there, and the proposed plan of what Mr. Manassi is looking to do at this point in time to see what kind of variances would be needed to, again, like we said, not have to start all over again with this one. The property in the back is well over 9 acres. You can't see it, even with the leaves off, I walk by this property pretty regularly, multiple times a week, and you can't see the house all the way in the back. It's also a dark structure, a dark color. The structures themselves are, even the detached garage is a very dark color, so it blends very well in. And as Mr. Manassi explained to us, he really is not looking to further subdivide the property to create more lots back there. And he's not looking to take down any more trees. So the location of the proposed garage meets his needs as best it does without taking down any additional trees, in essence. The other thing that came out is the existing detached garage that Mr. Manassi said at our last meeting that the building inspector knew about. The building inspector probably did know about it because the original intention of that house was for it to have a connecting breezeway that would not have made it a detached garage. That would have made it a part of the house because that breezeway would have connected it or attached it to the house, and then we wouldn't have found ourselves with a detached garage in the front yard. All right, so that's how that issue came about. So it was good to clear that up and understand that the circumstances in this one are a little crazy. The issue that we have at this point is, were you able to get an updated plan? We need to make sure that the measurements that we have are correct, that the structures are all identified on there. So were you able to get an updated plan for this board to review?
Not in 2 days. It was only.
That's what we're concerned about.
Anything else is not a problem. He'll locate it and give me a new plan. But everything here is where it is. The only additional thing is the woodshed to the north of the house,
Well, that's another structure. That's why we're saying we need
Yeah, it was an
to
open-
understand what other structures
Well, he'll put it
are.
on there. Surveyor didn't do it. He said it's an open woodshed. He didn't think it had to
When
be
you
on.
say it's the north of the structure, north of the house?
North of the house
So
on one.
is it on the same side of the house where the pool is?
No.
No, so it's not in the front yard.
Side, the other end,
So,
north side.
thank you. Aziz is showing me here so.
Didn't I draw it in somewhere on there? Do you have
Yeah,
it?
it is drawn.
Yeah, it's in here. I just didn't pull out my set of your plan. So at some point in time, if you ever further subdivide, you'll have to worry about a rear yard for that shed. But right now, that shed doesn't, or that wood, whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's just 6 posts and a roof full of firewood.
All right, but it's still,
But it doesn't even have any walls, I'm just saying, If it,
but it looks like it meets what required setbacks just from what we have.
Okay.
So I guess because we didn't have any discussion about the proposed garage, what we do have to discuss at this meeting is this proposed 1,500 square foot garage, because that is very large. And so can you explain to us the measurements of it? We don't even have the measurements of it. Is it 150 feet by 100 feet? What is the
it's 30 by 50.
30 by 50?
Yeah, 30 by 50.
Okay. So and why the 50 feet? Why is it?
Why is it 50
Well,
feet?
a normal 2-bay garage is going to be 24 by 24. Why, so you're asking for the 50 is double that. So I'm just questioning, usually 50 would be that you're parking an RV in there, or you need something that's got some kind of depth to it. So is it, that's obviously going to be more than 2 bays?
Yeah, it's not
Okay.
a place where I'm putting my car. It's where I'm putting a bunch of antique motorcycles. My car is going in the garage next to the house. This garage looks like about 150 feet away from the house, so it'd be a ways from the house. It's more of a workshop storage space,
Okay.
not a
That's why
garage.
it's not even connected to the driveway.
No, it's got another little garage, another little driveway going there that I'll use to build it, and then it'll be nothing but motorcycles in and out.
Okay, and what's it going to look like?
Similar, same, probably close to the same roof pitch as my house, 9 or 10 foot walls,
Is it going to have a second story?
not a second story. But there will be storage space above it. The rafters will be sitting on a plate, and the second story, if you want to call it a second story, is nothing but the attic.
Okay,
But it is 30 foot wide, so it's going to have there's an attic there.
okay.
I'll use that to store tanks, vendors, and stuff like that.
So what do you think is going to be the total height of it?
Total?
That might require another variance, that's why I'm getting at it,
No,
okay?
what's the height? 30 feet? What's the?
No, not for a garage.
max?
What's the height maximum for a
It says
garage?
1.5 stories is what
Right.
it says in the code.
Or 1.5 stories or 25 feet, is it?
Michelle,
But again, it's the 1.5 stories that's the controlling factor.
controlling factor.
So you're allowed 1.5 stories.
Well, being there's not a second floor on there, the attic, I suppose you could call it half a story.
Okay,
Or not, or call it a 1 story with an attic. Every house has an attic unless it has a flat roof, so.
this isn't a house.
No, any building.
is a garage.
A building has an attic though, right? If it has rafters?
Right, it will have rafters.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it sounds like
But
you're
if
going to,
there's like an 8-foot area there, that's a story. That becomes a second story. If there's like an 8-foot area that you can go up there and walk.
how are you proposing you're going to access that storage space?
Just a little set of stairs inside, maybe even a ladder inside,
All right.
I have to get
A
up.
ladder or a set of stairs? There's a difference.
I would probably rather have a set of stairs, being it's...
Creates a second story.
We don't have plans for this garage, do
We
we?
do not.
No, it's not mine. I can give you plans for the garage. I'm trying to get past where I can place it. That's what I'm trying to get by.
Understood, but in our getting to the point where we can consider whether it belongs there or not, we have to hear about what it's going to look like and its impact on your neighbors. Because actually, where you're proposing it, you own the property on the other side of the driveway. You don't own the property behind you on this side, right?
This side? No.
Right.
No, on the 60-foot part, the next lot is Chris Villas. His house is probably 400 feet away.
Okay.
So it's a ways. I don't think he could see it except, and maybe he could see it now. He certainly won't see it.
Did we have measurements for the pool deck?
No.
I think I'm probably going to take
All right,
that
we
pool
don't-
down, so it's not worth the trouble. I think it cost me about $500 an hour to swim in it if you figure it out, so I'll probably just take it down.
So are there questions from board members? Let's start with this.
No, I think the applicant has put all the information up there, and with this updated name of the project makes it easy to understand what the applicant is trying to achieve.
And by the way, I think I commented at the last meeting, his sign actually says variances from the determination of the, so when Michael and I were talking about noticing, he said, well, the fact that his sign said variances actually covers him to some extent from the legal notice of letting the neighbors know. So, and that sign's been up for 2 months now, so.
Yep.
So the notice for variances was actually included. Any other questions from board members?
Are we approving the garage, or?
Well, that's, the proposed garage or the existing garage? There's two garages.
The proposed without plans.
What we would be proposing is the placement of that
site,
garage. Yes.
the footprint.
fact that it would be in the front yard,
Okay.
and the fact that it would be larger than 331 square feet, larger than the 60% of his footprint of his house, right, Jackie? Yeah. Okay. And that it is too close to the front line of the house, to the front line of this property.
Are we going to talk about the existing pool deck and stuff, or just say,
We can, but they're, really the only variance that they're seeking is the fact that they are in the front yard.
okay,
So,
we might be okay with that.
so I understand what you were saying before on the site survey, that you can't see it from the street,
You
et cetera. All that's good, but I think we would be remiss without actually looking at plans of pictures, plans. Usually when people come in, they come in with a picture of what they're building, or from the store, the catalog, or something.
Right.
Because we're asking a lot of questions. Is it going to be stairs? Is it going to be a ladder? Is it going to be this? Is it going to be that? Is it going to be a loft? We don't know. So I think it would be difficult to give, it feels like it's almost a blanket
And
approval.
that could change the
without
square
knowing
footage
exactly
as
what it
well.
is.
You know,
Do you have plans for your garage?
I don't think I have them with me because I really didn't think we were heading in that direction. I didn't think you were concerned with what my garage actually looks like. I thought your determination was whether I can build a garage, another garage. I didn't know the zoning board had to actually approve the
We don't
design.
approve what it looks like, but in our review, in our determination of whether we should approve it or not, what it's going to look like
Yeah.
is important to us.
Yeah.
And that said, it should either blend in with the property, so it should be dark in color like your other structures, or it should match your house, so it looks like it belongs on the property. A large garage tends to sometimes make properties look a little bit more commercial or industrial. Again, your property is so far back, because I think you said the existing road right now is 800 or 900 feet long. So it's so far back that nobody really would see it from Clove Branch Road, but if at some point there's a road, actually Thunder Road becomes a real standard highway side road.
Do you see how far I'm placing it to in that direction? I mean, it's lost, I'm putting it there so it gets lost in the woods. I'm not trying to build this big monstrosity of a garage to look at.
And you made it clear.
Trying to lose it in the woods.
Right, you made it clear, you're trying to not cut down any more trees, but you are going to have it 10 feet from the property line of the lot in front of you.
Well,
Okay, so that's 10 feet is pretty close to that property.
well, those rules and flag lots don't really mix well. You know what I mean?
I think it's more of,
Flag lot.
we're saying 1,500 square feet. We don't know. We don't know if it's going to be, if we need a height variance. We don't know what variance we're going to need really without the specifics of the garage. I appreciate the fact that it's hidden and all that, and that's fine, but we got to at least know what we're approving.
Well, the 1,500 square feet is a given. It's 30 by 50, 1,500 square feet. That's what I'd like to build.
But we have nothing in front of us to see except something that says 1,500 square feet. We don't know the size.
Well, he is showing us the location, which is the third, I mean, we have to put the measurements on here ourselves, but the 30 feet is the
but that's just the footprint. If there's
I know.
storage
Right.
upstairs, we have to include that square footage, and we have to know how much there is.
shoot.
So if I don't put plywood on, I won't put plywood on the ceiling. If I don't put plywood on the ceiling, there's no longer storage. Okay, I'll put a ceiling, I'll have one ceiling joist, and I'll put rafters up with no plywood up there. I don't care.
Well, we're not saying you have to finagle anything. We just
I'm not
need to know,
finagling.
we just need to know what it is. You know, is there going to be electric there? Is there going to be a
Well, it's
generator?
definitely going to be electric, yeah, I need electric. I need welders and compressor, I need electric.
Well, if you just want to put a garage door opener on it, you need
Yeah, I need electric.
Okay, so,
Yeah.
but you're not going to have, you're not putting heat in it.
No,
There's not going to be plumbing in it.
I may put a wood stove in it. For
So I say it's changing.
For the winter, I might want to be, you mean I can't work in there in the winter? In the winter, I can't work there? Is that what you're telling me? In the winter, you have to go, I'm not going to Florida to work.
No, we just need
We're not
to know
telling you
all
what
the
to do.
facts.
Well, you seemed to balk when I said I might put a wood stove in there. Oh, my God.
You're supposed to be telling us what you're doing here.
Like I said, I thought this was only for a location, an approved location, not,
And that is, but it's also for the size, because it's a large size, and
the size is 30 by 50. That's what's drawn there. That's 30
but
by 50.
what our building and zoning administrator just said is that any square footage on the second floor has to get factored into.
There's no second floor.
There's no second floor.
It's a ceiling.
So we're all agreeing,
Changing throughout the meeting.
I know, there's no stairs going to the second
Well,
floor.
okay, I don't put stairs. What do what do you want me to build, this little
Well-
shack? You want me to build this little low?
We want you to build whatever you want,
Correct.
but we need you, what we want is you to come in and say, here's the plans of what I'm building, here's what it looks like. Is this good? This is how high it is. Because all we have is a footprint. It could be 80 feet high, we don't know. You say, well, it's 50, but we need to see something. We need to visually see plans, just like these plans.
Is that
we need to
because-
see a plan for the garage.
Is that because I'm asking for an additional garage that the zoning board needs to approve that?
You're asking-
Normally, the zoning board wouldn't need to approve a garage I'm building. If I'm building a house with a garage, the zoning board doesn't.
We do, because we have to look at it and say, if you reduce the size of the garage, it reduces the variances that you need. That's why it's important to us about the size, what it's going to look like, and its impact on your neighbors. So it is in our purview, the size of it, and in essence, and why do you need that size, what's it going to be used for? And even like Matt said, the second floor of it, if it's going to need a height variance, or there's going to be additional square footage. So yes, the size of it, because it is larger than a normal two-bay garage, and you did tell us last month that you do not have a garage attached to your house, because that's the detached garage that should have been attached to your house. So yes, it does matter to us about the size of it, because if you reduce, even though it's the 30-foot that side, this is the Need 30 feet. So that determines that it's 10 feet. If you reduced it, the 30 feet down to 24 feet, well, then you don't need a 40-foot variance, you only need a 34-foot variance. See what I'm saying? So yes, it does matter to us.
Can we have a condition at this meeting for the location of the garage until you see a plan and like that for, the actual plan of the garage, the blueprint of the garage? I'm still waiting for my architect to give me an as-built for the existing garage, so things move awfully slow.
Okay, before we, speaking of that, have you made any applications yet to the building department to clear up any of the violations? Are there actual violations out there?
Yeah, there's a
Okay.
few permits.
So he has made application for permits?
Nothing's come in yet.
No, I need a set of plans to do that. I'm waiting. I
Okay.
asked him to draw me a set of plans.
And obviously, if he takes the pool down and the pool deck, that's two less things he needs to apply for.
Al must be watching because he just texted.
That's funny.
So do you think you're going to take the pool and the pool deck down? Can we remove that from needing a variance?
I think so, but
You don't have to.
You don't have to, we're just,
Just keep that in mind.
as long as we're getting variance, I may get the variance, but when I don't want it, I just take it down.
okay.
It's just a
Keep it in.
bowl of water with a deck around it. It's not like a real pool,
But you do have plans for the 30 by 50 foot?
Yeah, I have a
You don't
quick
have them
sketch.
with you?
No, it's just a quick sketch
But
you show.
because you don't have them with us, you can't tell us that second floor, but now you're saying, you're agreeing that you'll
Well, if you
eliminate that second floor in essence,
Do we call out a second floor because there's plywood on it?
if there's going to be a floor to it,
No, there's no floor.
especially if there's going to be stairs to it. It's a second floor.
Well, it wouldn't be stairs if there was no floor. I wouldn't build stairs if I didn't have a floor on it.
Do you want to come back next month? I mean, we
I
can,
don't ever want to come back, but I'll do whatever I gotta do.
And I think part of what's going on, exactly your point, if you don't ever want to come back, if the code enforcement officer doesn't have a chance to actually review the survey and review the plans for the garage, you might have to come back again, which we know you don't want to do, and that'd be part of
Right.
another
And
application.
I don't want you to come back and have to start from the beginning.
How long do you have?
How do I avoid coming back?
What you would do is you'd provide your survey, would have the measurements from all the existing structures. The code enforcement officer will review. You're not going to have to re-advertise anything. You just leave your sign up.
Right.
You come back next month. Hopefully, we have all the exact measurements. We have the measurement of the height of the actual structure. And then the board will be ready to vote.
Yeah, I think we need a set of plans.
Okay.
If we can get a set of plans, then we're all clear on exactly what's needed, so you don't, so you'll.
My time schedule's gone anyway, it doesn't matter.
It would mean
Another
you'd
month-
have to come back
Another month
next-
doesn't matter, we're good.
You would have to come back next month.
Okay.
But it saves you from having to start with a whole new application and doing a whole other another public hearing and everything else. If we can, let's just adjourn this
Okay.
until we get the correct information,
Okay,
all right? And then we'll see you next month.
good enough.
Hold on.
I'm always anxious, I'm sorry.
Is there anyone here who wishes to speak for or against the request from Joseph Manassi, 29 Thunder Road, Hopewell Junction, requesting an appeal from the zoning administrator's determination of the front yards pursuant to section 194-14.2 and local law number 7 of 2022 for lots 1 and 2? A variance to allow structures in the front yard, including the existing detached garage, existing pool, pool deck, shed, and the proposed 1,500 square foot detached garage, and a 40-foot front line variance and 331 square foot size variance for the proposed detached garage. So seeing none, do I have a motion to adjourn the public hearing to next month?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
We'll see you next month. If you could, please change the date on your sign? Yep. Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone. All right, item number 2. Again, these are not public hearings, these are just reviews, discussion. Appeal 4133, Joseph Calcutti, 131 Martin Road, Hopewell Junction, requesting a 13-foot side yard variance for an existing 8-foot by 10-foot or 80 square foot shed, a 15-foot side yard variance for an existing 8-foot by 15-foot or 120 square foot shed, and a 25-foot side yard variance for an existing 16-foot by 23-foot carport pursuant to section 194-107 and the schedule of bulk regulations. Good evening. So Martin Road is the one that kind of comes out opposite Daddy-O's. And I drove down there looking for this structure because the pictures of it kind of looked, that carport, what you're describing as a carport, was a little unusual, okay? And I couldn't find it from the road. So you clearly hid it in your backyard very well. Okay, I want to start by saying that. And honestly, the pictures that the zoning administrator gave us clearly show, I mean, you keep a very, very neat yard there. And so having that structure allows you to keep things in its place. Martin Road, multiple properties had multiple sheds, had multiple structures, okay, had multiple amounts of equipment and all sorts of other stuff in their yards. So I do want to compliment the fact that I couldn't even find, I couldn't even see it from the road. So, with that being said, normally the structure itself is, like I said, it's a little unusual. This, a shed is what it is, and with doors and everything else. This was kind of open and everything else, but it was this weird structure, and that's why I really just wanted to see its impact to the neighborhood, but couldn't even see it, so. But that said, you have this structure, this carport, it's a permanent structure, right? Its footings are in the ground, and you're not gonna pick it up and move it, but it's on the property line.
Right.
So,
I have a hill there where I did take pictures, but there's really, I mean, there was no other place to really go for me to build that, or
yeah, you have a really, your house is.
narrow and set back.
Yeah, your house is quite far back, and I think that helps with the fact that people don't really see it in the
Yeah.
front there. So, for what it's worth, I wanted to say, really, this man clearly maintains his property well, and you could not see the structure from the front. You guys have the pictures of what it looks like?
I did not.
There's a jungle gym up there. What is that? Is it
It's just a kid's swing set, really.
Yeah.
a
Jackie?
swing set, so it's not a structure?
Yeah.
Well, it is because it has to be, it starts on the grounds, so.
I mean, but we don't need a variance for that.
Do you have Matt's pictures of this one? Oh, good, thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Just so you guys can see.
What is this garden, or whatever is new, garden?
Yeah, it's a fenced-in garden area.
Oh, garden
So
area.
it's got, I think
Yeah,
it's
we're fenced in.
Yeah, it's
It's
just
only a
fenced in.
small little garden,
Okay.
just so the deer don't
So
eat it.
these are the 3 sheds and
Right.
carport.
well, the 2 sheds and a carport. That's the garden.
But the jungle gym is not going to be discussed. Okay, then this is no. Okay.
Because the jungle gym meets the setback requirements, I guess.
Oh, okay.
So you see, it's just
Yeah.
a weirder structure than what we're used to seeing. It's not, no doors.
Yeah, I mean,
Does it have a solid floor?
Well,
No, no floor.
No.
I mean,
I
this
just
is,
didn't want to have tarps covering my stuff,
This is
so
part of the jungle
I
gym?
built that little structure with, just make it look better.
Yeah, this is, but it's in the middle, that's in the yard.
oh, that doesn't need, okay.
Right. that's
Cover,
right.
is it just like corrugated plastic? Yes.
What it is.
Yeah.
So we're looking for, variance.
Have you talked with your neighbor? They haven't set up a done.
Yeah.
Have you talked with your neighbors about this?
Yeah.
Okay.
My next door neighbor, yeah.
Okay, motion to advertise?
Should advertise.
Motion to advertise?
They've seen it.
You beat me
Is there a
to it.
second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So we'll see you next month. If any of your neighbors want to write a note so they don't have to come, that would be fine too.
Okay.
All right?
That's what I should do?
Yeah. Ask any of your neighbors if they want us to give you a letter supporting your application.
Okay.
But like I said, I couldn't even find it. I came into that and I said, are you sure? Because I couldn't even see it from the road, so,
Yeah, it's in the
you did a good job hiding it, okay? Jackie will give you information about your sign. All right. All right, next. Item number, appeal, can I, appeal 4134, John and Rima Adorno, Kent's Road, Hopewell Junction, requesting a variance to build on an undersized lot of .45 acres in an R1 zone and a 25-foot lot width variance pursuant to section 194-130 and the schedule of bulk regulations. Good evening. This is a tough one. All right, so tell us what's going on here.
Client purchased the last lot in this subdivision that was approved in 1957, or actually prior to him purchasing. I talked to Michelle
Right.
regarding whether it was buildable. I talked to Jim Upright from the Health Department if it was still valid. They said if I met the required setbacks and everything else, and Michelle had mentioned about the ordinance with regards to the smaller lots meeting the setbacks. So I had a survey done. We do meet all the setbacks under the zone. I did go, had a survey, got the wells and septics. We do meet the setbacks, and we submitted an application to the Board of Health, and we have received Board of Health approval for the lot.
You have Board of Health approval?
Yes, we do.
Oh, wow, okay.
It actually had it, but Jim asked me to,
Jim, who?
Upright from the Health Department,
Okay.
asked me to do perk and deed, which I did, and he said as long as all the other lots were built in accordance to the approved plans, I met the setbacks. And actually, I was able to get a expansion area, which none of the other lots had approval with. I did submit the Board of Health letter to the town.
And we have it.
You have it? Okay,
Dated
good.
March 20th, so we have it on file.
So this lot was created in 1957.
It was an approved lot.
Yeah, most of the lots in this area were either built in the 50s or the 70s.
There was actually one just built in 2009, received a variance from the from the town and got Board of Health approval.
Okay. What are you proposing in terms of the size of this house? Because I think what's going to be really important here is all the houses, the homes on the lots that are there are all of a similar size. And I just want to be sure that what you're proposing to put here is going to be...
It's only a 3-bedroom house. It matches the surrounding lots. I've actually submitted plans to the building department, which they're reviewing. It's not, I'm not looking to build, or you're not looking to build a big house. It's just a small little 3-bedroom that blends in with all the other homes.
So what's the square footage of the small 3-bedroom?
Maybe 1,800 square foot?
So
So Matthew, can you go over what's...
about 2652 on the plans that I reviewed.
That's with the basement. I put that in the square footage, but it's just the basement, but the actual living space on the first floor.
So wait, it's the first floor is
You got a first floor, then
1,800 square feet?
you have a walkout basement. The way the property is sloped.
But isn't there a second story to this?
Yeah, so from the rear, there's actually, because it's walkout, it's like a 3-story house.
Right, that's what I'm hearing now. But there's, most of the homes in that area are single-story, right?
That's correct.
They're
Two-story.
ranch.
Some of
Most of them are ranches on the right-hand
Yeah,
side.
most of them are ranches
on the
this.
one side, and the other side, that
Kent's Road, for you guys, just if you're not familiar, is by Emmeline Pond,
By where?
okay? Emmeline Pond. And so this was a subdivision that was created in 1957, and there is a need definitely for smaller homes in this town. So I'm not disagreeing with the fact that it's a smaller lot, we would get a smaller home on it. It's got to be size appropriate to the neighborhood. So I don't think what I saw was, I thought what I saw was larger than what was in the area.
Well, yeah, if you go down Kent's, several of them are just a ranch. Some are under 900 square feet for total square footage.
Right.
I don't know which ones are close to this, but
the one that was built in 2009, that's 2-story, that's the yellow one, second house on the left side as you're going up Kent.
How far away from this house?
Or maybe 5 houses and then over.
Yeah, so it's
But
across
then
the
as
street
you
and
go
5
around-
lots.
You go around the corner, because he's the last lot. Once you get around the corner, then they start getting the larger homes. So
Right.
this is sort of blending in from the smaller, you have the larger, and this is in between. It's deceiving because of the slope of the property.
Right.
The way the property slopes.
I think there's pictures from the zoning administrators circulating right now.
Seems most of them are
What?
ranch. Most of them are.
Yeah, most of the properties in this area are. So you're supposed to have, wait, where's my agenda? You're supposed to have 125 feet of lot width, and you only have 100 feet, right? Because normally when we give variances, it's for an undersized lot, you can meet all the other conditions. That's why,
Which the lot was, again, was approved, and what Michelle had told me is that she sent me the code with the reduced setbacks because of the undersized lot, and she said if we could meet those setbacks, which we do,
well, then why do you need a variance?
because it's an undersized lot, that's,
But you also still need a lot width variance.
Not if it's a reduced setback. Yeah.
But that's what's on our agenda, that it still needs a
Yeah.
lot width.
back when it was approved, that was the lot width. So what, in the code, it says there is reduced setbacks, and it was just the side yards, front yards was 50, rear yards 50, which we met, and then the side yard went to 15. We met all those setbacks. And I was told it would sort of be a formality because it's an approved lot and an approved subdivision filed with the county. As long as I could meet Board of Health and meet the current zoning.
I was just looking at the photographs that our building inspector has provided us.
Right.
This all seem to be either raised ranches or one story. I did not see any of those that are 2 stories in this neighborhood. So the character of the neighborhood will change if you have a 2-story garage. Now, if you do put up a basement in a raised ranch, or, like a 1-story with a basement, walkout basement, that might be okay, because it'll blend in with the rest of the neighborhood. But having this big 2-story structure will have a change in the character of the neighborhood.
Did the building inspector take pictures of going
Yeah,
around the corner of Kent?
What is the lot number? What would the house number?
23.
421 is the lot.
Right, what's the
It
house?
would be
What would the house?
20, it would be 23.
The same size, 1,900.
So 23 would be the lot? So if you guys look at the addresses that the building inspector has provided,
on either
It
side,
said 23 on here, yeah,
yeah.
the applicant is 23.
yeah.
So if you look at 19 and 17 and
23.
they're all
Okay.
raised, either one
That's
story.
18 is a ranch.
Yes, to that side, coming off of
15 is a
376.
raised ranch. It looks like, or is that a
It
ranch?
looks like, yeah,
From
it's like a
his
ranch.
lot on, going
Looks like they're all
around
ranches.
Kent, there's some rather large homes.
Every one of them is a ranch.
17 Kents is a ranch. 19 Kents is a ranch.
They're all there, 24. I don't know what that is, really can't see, but it looks like it's a ranch back there.
Looking at basin parcel, okay.
And 21.
21, yeah, is a ranch. But again, map provides the square footage, so go back. So, is that the first one? 15 Kents,
1144,
0.44 of an, okay, let's start here.
1680.
So 18
newer
Kents is 0.44 of an acre. The house is 1,680 square feet. 17 Kents, 0.44 of an acre, 1,960 square feet. 15 Kents, 0.44 of an acre, 1,144 square feet. Of what?
The house, 2 houses from him on the other side, was on Foster.
2 houses from it? You said before it was 4 lots from it.
No, that was the new house that was done.
Oh, okay.
What's the address?
If you could please stay at the microphone?
2 Jeffries Road.
Oh, that's in a different
That's
one.
a
21
different,
is 1,400 square feet.
That's,
That's in a different neighborhood,
well, it's a different street.
different street, yeah.
Kent's Road, would be 23, then you got 25 after that. When the road bends, that becomes Jeffries Road.
Right.
So that's,
It's a different,
It's 2.3 acres, it's a different lot and size house, obviously, on Jeffries.
so Jeffries becomes a new neighborhood because of the sizes of the lots and the homes. That's fine, I don't doubt that, like, I agree with you when you say this is a transitional spot for this to go to the next neighborhood, but what we're worried about is this neighborhood. Sorry, Mike, I'm not speaking into the microphone.
Yeah, so that's 21.
So 21 Kent, okay, because you're now at 23, is 0.45 of an acre, and the house itself is 408 square feet. So that's what we're getting at, is the size of the homes that are surrounding this lot.
he expanding? Is he expanding?
He did.
They just expanded on that house.
1,900 square feet.
To 1,900? Okay.
That's actually the guy who owns it, is a friend of mine, he's a building inspector in Yorktown.
Okay.
And he just is expanding that house. That's how I found out about this lot.
So what are you proposing to be the square footage of this house?
It's like 1,800 and then you have the basement.
So it looks like they go from 944 to
But from-
1,400.
It's a very narrow house.
A lot. I didn't want to put a ranch and have no space and no space. So I put a
Okay, we're going to have you come to the microphone, please. Sorry.
It only has a one-car garage on the plan's not here?
Yeah, we have the plans. That's why we can see it's the 2 stories or the 3 stories or whatever you want to. From the street, it appears it's going to be 2 stories.
Yeah.
Which is not in character is what we're saying with the other houses on the street. However, I get what you're saying now because of the reduced size of the width of the lot.
Yeah, we didn't want to put a,
You're not making it a ranch, but you're sticking to the same square footage essentially, but you're just doing it higher.
right.
Okay, that's. If you guys want to, I don't know if Art had a chance to see all.
First and second floor is 2,200 square feet.
First and second floor are what?
2,200 square feet without the basement.
Without the basement, 2,200 square feet.
That's maybe with the garage.
Well,
Including the garage.
Yeah, that includes the garage. Yeah.
do the other houses on this street have garages?
Some are detached. Remember, we did a variance for somebody else on Kent on the opposite side that just did a garage
Okay.
that needed a variance. We did that within the last year. A lot of them have detached garages.
All right. I think I'm going to suggest we all take a drive over to Kent Road on our own time and just take a look at the street, the nature of the street before we, I think let's let it go to public hearing and then let's see what the neighbors say.
Actually, you've already talked to a bunch of the neighbors, and
They want to finish the development.
we've already,
Sorry.
Okay, motion to advertise.
Let it finish. Dave, what?
They want to finish the development.
Yeah, I mean, of course, I mean, that only one lot is left and then so it makes sense. So motion to advertise.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, we'll see you next month, but it would be helpful if you got any letters from your neighbors, from the neighbors.
And a photograph,
picture of Kent,
Of which, Kent?
yeah, just bring some photographs next time.
Well,
Just
we
bring-
have these from,
No, again, just for the ones that showed 2-story structures.
I see 9, 12,
Yeah, again,
11, 16,
I don't think there was 10 in there.
yeah, the ones that have 2 stories,
15.
just,
17.
okay, motion to adjourn?
Wow.
brand new house, built in 2000.
No, but again, it's from the road, it looks like 1 story. It's not 3 stories.
Two
It's that
stories.
one, that's 2 stories raised ranch.
From the front of the room.
I thought it was
They
a,
they have a basement, but it's not a walkout basement.
Yeah, it's out there.
okay, motion to,
Picture, because the slope of the land.
Don't rush us.
okay.
All right, so please speak to Jackie. She'll give you information. She says you've got to put a sign out on that lot, okay? So that we'll know, that your neighbors will know that we're doing this. And then, like I said, if you can come with any letters from your neighbors, that would be helpful. All right, we'll see you next month. Now, Aziz.
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you. All right, this goes back to...